Hard work doesn't make people rich. In many cases, it makes them easier to keep in place, because effort is expensive when it produces nothing that remains after you stop. So what is actually being built while the effort is being spent? Most people don't notice the cost at first. They just feel tired, then time disappears, then options shrink, income plateaus, and eventually a dangerous belief forms quietly in the background. If I just push harder, it will turn around. So here's the real question. What if working harder isn't building wealth at all? What if it's quietly preventing it? Leonardo da Vinci understood this problem centuries ago. He studied force, motion, and mechanics long before modern markets existed, and he observed something most people still miss today. Force applied without leverage doesn't create progress, it creates wear. A poorly designed mechanism doesn't reward strength, it consumes it. Wealth follows the same rule. It doesn't respond to effort alone, it responds to structure, and the wrong structure charges a cost every single day. The first time this became obvious to me, it wasn't through theory or finance, it was through outcomes. Results were improving, yet strain wasn't increasing. There was no urgency, no chaos, no visible acceleration, which exposed something uncomfortable. When effort rises but outcomes don't, effort is no longer the driver. Structure is. And once effort and results separate, the entire game changes. From that point on, only one question matters. What system are you actually operating inside? Here's what nobody tells you about working harder. It's a brilliantly designed trap. The harder you work, the more trapped you become. Not because work itself is evil, but because relentless effort without leverage creates a prison of diminishing returns. You exhaust your most valuable resource, your energy, while the wealthy preserve theirs and deploy it strategically. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you saw a billionaire bragging about pulling an all-nighter? When did you hear Warren Buffett talking about grinding 18-hour days? These individuals understand something fundamental that escapes most people. Energy is finite, but systems are infinite. Da Vinci never painted faster to create more masterpieces. He painted better. He studied anatomy, optics, engineering, and mathematics. He built knowledge systems that enhanced every stroke. While others painted more hours, Da Vinci painted with more precision. The result? Works that have commanded attention and value for over 500 years. This is the compound effect in action, but not the compound effect most people understand. They think compound interest only applies to money sitting in accounts, but the real compound effect operates on a deeper level. It compounds intelligence, systems, and leverage. Small, consistent improvements to your approach create exponential gains over time. Here's where most people go wrong. They confuse activity with progress. They measure success by hours logged, tasks completed, emails sent. But these are input metrics, not output metrics. A master craftsman doesn't measure success by how many tools he uses. He measures it by the quality and impact of what he creates. Consider the difference between two entrepreneurs. The first works 16 hours a day, personally handling every aspect of his business. He's busy, stressed, and proud of his work ethic. The second works 6 hours a day, but spends 3 of those hours designing systems that work without his direct involvement. Who will be wealthier in 5 years? The answer seems obvious, but here's why most people choose the first path. Immediate feedback. Hard work provides instant psychological rewards. You feel productive, you feel valuable, you feel like you're earning your success. But these feelings become addictive, and addiction clouds judgment. Strategic thinking requires stepping back from the immediate dopamine hit of busyness. It requires what Da Vinci called intellectual patience, the ability to work on problems that don't provide instant gratification but create long-term advantages. Let me tell you about Marcus, a consultant who discovered this principle by accident. For years, he traded time for money, working 80-hour weeks and earning decent fees. But he was exhausted, and his income had plateaued. Then he got sick and couldn't work for 3 weeks. Instead of panicking, Marcus used this forced break to analyze his business. He realized he was solving the same problems repeatedly for different clients. So he created a systematic approach: templates, processes, diagnostic tools. When he returned to work, instead of starting from zero with each client, he had frameworks that accelerated his analysis and improved his results. The outcome: Marcus cut his working hours in half while doubling his fees. Clients paid more because they received better outcomes faster. Marcus had discovered what Da Vinci knew: the right system makes expertise scalable. This story illustrates a crucial point about wealth creation that most people miss. Wealth isn't created by working harder on the same activities. Wealth is created by working smarter on different activities, activities that compound over time rather than resetting with each new project. If this approach resonates with you, share 1 or 2 words in the comments that capture what stood out to you most. The compound effect operates on 3 levels: knowledge compounds, systems compound, and relationships compound. Let's examine each. Knowledge compounds when you learn principles instead of just procedures. Most people learn what to do. Masters learn why things work. When you understand underlying principles, you can adapt to new situations instead of starting over each time circumstances change. Da Vinci studied water flow not just to paint better rivers, but because he understood that flow dynamics applied to air, blood, paint, and human movement. One deep study yielded insights for dozens of applications. This is knowledge leverage: learning once, applying everywhere. Systems compound when you build processes that improve themselves. Instead of just completing tasks, you create methods for completing similar tasks better in the future. Every iteration makes the next one easier and more effective. Relationships compound when you focus on providing value before extracting it. Most people network to get something. Masters network to give something. They understand that influence grows not through taking, but through consistent contribution to others' success. Here's the psychological trap that keeps people working harder instead of working better: effort feels virtuous. We've been conditioned to believe that suffering equals earning, that struggle proves worthiness. But this mindset serves the system, not the individual. The system needs people to work hard. It needs employees who sacrifice for modest rewards. It needs consumers who buy products to compensate for unfulfilling work. It needs citizens who are too tired to question how value is really created and distributed. But here's what the system fears: people who understand leverage. People who can create disproportionate value through intelligent design rather than brute force. People who think like Da Vinci. Da Vinci wasn't just an artist or inventor. He was a systems thinker who understood that small insights, properly applied, create massive results. His flying machine designs weren't the result of working harder on existing flying attempts. They came from studying birds and understanding the principles of lift, thrust, and aerodynamics. This same principle applies to wealth creation today. You don't get rich by working harder at a job. You get rich by understanding the principles that create value and building systems around those principles. Consider passive income, the holy grail of financial independence. Passive income isn't passive at all. It requires intensive upfront work to create systems that generate money without your direct involvement. But most people avoid this work because it doesn't provide immediate returns. They choose the immediate reward of hourly wages over the delayed reward of systematic wealth. This is where compound thinking becomes crucial. Every dollar you earn from labor can only be earned once, but every dollar you earn from systems can be earned repeatedly. The initial effort to build the system is the same, but the long-term returns are exponentially different. Real estate provides a perfect example. You can work construction and earn money for every hour worked, or you can learn real estate principles, acquire properties, and earn money while you sleep. The upfront learning and capital requirements are barriers, but they're temporary barriers that create permanent advantages. Technology has amplified these opportunities dramatically. You can now create digital systems that serve customers worldwide without geographical limitations, but most people use technology for consumption rather than creation. They scroll social media instead of learning to build audiences. They watch videos instead of creating courses. The difference isn't talent or luck, it's mindset. Do you see technology as entertainment or as leverage? Do you see problems as obstacles or as opportunities to build solutions? Here's where Da Vinci's approach becomes invaluable. He treated every challenge as a design problem. Instead of complaining about limitations, he redesigned the approach. When painting traditional portraits became routine, he invented new techniques like sfumato, the subtle gradation of tones that created unprecedented realism. Applied to wealth, this means treating financial limitations as design challenges. Instead of accepting that you must trade time for money, you redesign your approach to trade value for money. Instead of accepting market rates for your services, you create unique combinations that command premium prices. The compound effect accelerates when you combine multiple leverage points. Da Vinci didn't just paint better, he combined art, science, engineering, and mathematics. This combination created works that couldn't be replicated by specialists in any single field. Similarly, modern wealth creation often comes from combining previously separate domains. Airbnb combined hospitality with technology. Tesla combined automotive engineering with software. Netflix combined entertainment with data science. These combinations weren't accidents. They were systematic approaches to creating value in new ways. The founders didn't work harder within existing industries. They worked differently across industry boundaries. And if this way of thinking resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel for more insights on strategic wealth creation. The psychological shift from effort-based to system-based thinking requires unlearning several deeply held beliefs. First, you must abandon the belief that working harder always leads to better results. Sometimes working harder just means you're getting better at the wrong things. Second, you must abandon the belief that immediate results indicate long-term success. Building systems often means accepting short-term decreases in income or productivity while creating long-term increases in both. Third, you must abandon the belief that you must personally do everything important. This belief keeps you trapped in linear scaling. You can only achieve results proportional to your personal effort. System builders learn to achieve results through other people's efforts, through automated processes, and through compound effects. Da Vinci understood this principle intimately. He didn't try to personally build every machine he designed. He created detailed plans that others could follow. He didn't try to paint every portrait himself. He trained apprentices who could execute his techniques. His genius wasn't in doing everything personally, it was in creating frameworks that others could implement. The modern equivalent is building businesses that operate without your constant intervention. This requires shifting from being the person who does the work to being the person who designs how work gets done. Most entrepreneurs start as specialists. They're good at something and sell that expertise directly. But wealthy entrepreneurs evolve into architects. They design systems for delivering that expertise at scale. This evolution requires developing new skills: delegation, process design, quality control, and strategic thinking. These skills aren't taught in school because schools prepare people to be specialists, not architects. But these skills determine whether you build wealth or just earn income. The compound effect in business comes from creating processes that get better over time. Instead of starting from zero with each new customer, you build on previous experiences. Instead of solving each problem individually, you create solutions that prevent entire categories of problems. Consider customer service. Most businesses handle each customer complaint individually, but system-thinking businesses analyze complaint patterns and redesign their products or processes to eliminate common complaints entirely. This approach requires more upfront thinking, but creates better customer experiences and lower operational costs over time. The same principle applies to personal productivity. Instead of working harder to complete daily tasks, you can redesign your environment, tools, and processes to make those tasks easier and faster. The upfront investment in system design pays dividends every day thereafter. Time management provides another example. Most people try to manage time by working faster or longer. But time can't be managed. Only activities can be managed. System thinkers focus on designing their activities to achieve desired outcomes with minimal time investment. This might mean automating routine tasks, batching similar activities, or eliminating unnecessary activities entirely. It might mean redesigning your physical space to reduce friction and increase focus. These changes require initial effort but compound their benefits over time. The compound effect also applies to learning and skill development. Instead of learning isolated skills, you can focus on foundational principles that apply across multiple domains. Instead of consuming information randomly, you can create learning systems that build knowledge systematically. Da Vinci exemplified this approach. His anatomical studies informed his art, his engineering projects influenced his architectural designs, and his observations of nature shaped his inventions. He wasn't learning separate subjects. He was building an integrated understanding of how the world works. Modern professionals can apply this same approach by focusing on principles rather than procedures, by connecting insights across different fields, and by building knowledge frameworks rather than collecting isolated facts. The financial implications of this approach are profound. When your knowledge compounds, your value in the marketplace compounds. When your systems compound, your productivity compounds. When your relationships compound, your opportunities compound. These compounding effects create what economists call increasing returns, situations where success builds on itself to create even more success. This is the opposite of the diminishing returns that come from working harder without working smarter. But accessing these increasing returns requires patience and strategic thinking. You must be willing to invest time and energy in activities that don't pay immediate dividends but create long-term advantages. This is difficult in a culture that emphasizes instant gratification, but it's essential for significant wealth creation. The compound effect also requires consistency. Small improvements made consistently over long periods create dramatic results, but inconsistent efforts, even if intense, rarely create lasting advantages. This is why habit formation is so crucial for wealth building. Wealthy people don't rely on motivation or inspiration to drive their financial decisions. They create systematic approaches that operate regardless of their mood or energy levels. These systems include automatic savings transfers, regular investment schedules, periodic financial reviews, and consistent learning routines. The individual actions might seem small, but their compound effect over years or decades is transformational. The key insight is that wealth creation is less about dramatic gestures and more about intelligent design. It's less about working exceptionally hard and more about working exceptionally smart. It's less about personal sacrifice and more about systematic advantage. Da Vinci didn't create masterpieces through superhuman effort. He created them through superior understanding, better tools, and more effective processes. His advantage wasn't motivational, it was methodological. This distinction is crucial because motivational advantages are temporary. You can't maintain peak intensity indefinitely. But methodological advantages are permanent. Once you build a better system, it continues working even when your motivation wanes. This is why the compound effect is so powerful for wealth creation. It doesn't depend on maintaining unsustainable levels of effort. It depends on creating sustainable systems that generate value over time. The psychological challenge is trusting the process when results aren't immediately visible. Compound growth starts slowly, and the dramatic results only appear after significant time has passed. This delayed gratification is difficult for most people, but it's essential for significant wealth creation. The compound effect in wealth creation also applies to risk management. Instead of avoiding all risks, you can create systems for taking intelligent risks, risks where the potential upside far exceeds the potential downside, and where you can afford to be wrong multiple times while being right only occasionally. Venture capital exemplifies this approach. Individual investments might fail, but a systematic approach to identifying and supporting high-potential companies creates portfolio returns that far exceed safer alternatives. Individual investors can apply similar thinking by creating diversified portfolios, by investing in their own skill development, and by building multiple income streams. These approaches don't guarantee success in any individual bet, but they create strong probabilities of long-term wealth creation. The compound effect rewards those who understand probabilities rather than those who seek certainties. In an uncertain world, the ability to make good decisions with incomplete information becomes more valuable than the ability to work hard on predetermined tasks. This requires developing what Da Vinci called intellectual courage. The willingness to think independently and act on your analysis even when others disagree. Wealth creation often requires going against conventional wisdom, and conventional wisdom is maintained by people who aren't wealthy. The crowd works harder, the individual thinks better, the crowd follows proven paths, the individual creates new paths, the crowd seeks security, the individual seeks opportunity. This doesn't mean being contrarian for its own sake. It means being willing to question assumptions, to test alternatives, and to pursue approaches that others overlook or avoid. This channel is not built on hype or shortcuts. It exists to study principles, decisions, and clarity. Understanding always comes first. But when insight moves from theory into real life, structure becomes necessary. Without it, even sound decisions erode over time. I use a simple system personally to keep finances deliberate, clear, and under control. No subscriptions, no noise, no dependence. A single, intentional setup designed for ownership, not convenience. It's available for those who value clarity and autonomy. The link is below. Clarity always comes first. And there you have it. Why hard work quietly keeps people poor through Da Vinci's principle. We explored why effort alone remains capped, how structure reshapes outcomes, and why leverage has always been the silent driver behind accelerated results. If this breakdown sharpened your thinking, continue with the next video. It will take you further. Support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Stay sharp. Stay intentional. Keep crafting your wealth the way Da Vinci crafted his work, one deliberate stroke at a time. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. See you!